What's going on? So we're getting ready to do the headlights, and the process that I've got a little, it's like a foam brick, I guess you could call it, that I wrap the paper around, and depending on the severity of the headlights, these have a little bit of gouges, some scratches, so I'm going to use a little heavier grit. I'm going to start out with 800 grit, then I'm going to jump up to 15, 3000, and then I'm going to polish them out with a compound polish, then finish them off with a ceramic coating so it lasts a while. That's the goal here, make the customer happy and to keep them happy. So how I do this process, I get my sheet, I bend the corner over just to give something for it to hold on to, and then I do it. The brick has a harder side and a softer side. I like the softer side because it gives a little bit, which will allow for if I get caught on a corner or whatever, it's more forgiving. I don't plan on getting caught in any corners, especially because these are pretty flat. But you can kind of see just wrapping it around, and I will do wet sanding. So I've got a bucket of soap over here that I just will dip in, and then I'll start sanding. So I'm going to flip the camera around and we're going to get to it. If you have any questions or concerns, put them in the comments. So you guys can see all this yellow gunk that's coming up, whitish yellow color. It's even dripping down the side. That's all the oxidation that's keeping the headlight from looking clear. So we're sanding that down with this 800 grit and creating a smooth surface to work on. And then the reason why we have the higher grit sandpapers, so we've got a 1500 and then 2500. You can use 3000, whatever you've got in your inventory. That's the way of attack that I'm gonna hit the car today. And you wanna make sure you're going back and forth in straight lines. You don't wanna do swirls. Those are gonna be more difficult to get out. So we're going over everything. And then in a sec, I will wipe it down, make sure the whole lens is hazy. And then if that's the case, and there's no big gouges or chunks or scratches that you're wanting to get out, if they're still there, hit it again. And then that's the process. So I'm gonna finish up this step with the 800 grit. wipe it, and then we'll take a look. You also don't want to be pushing too hard, just light enough that there's some friction. But you don't want to go too hard, because then you're just making scratches that are not needed. So you can see now the yellowish is turning more of a white, and that's what we're going for in this step. Make sure you get all the way around, or else we're going to have some uneven spots. Okay, I'm going to get a towel and we're going to wipe it down. So overall, you can see the whole headlight is hazed out now. Just going over and making sure I haven't missed any spots. It should be extremely smooth. Now we're on to the 1500 grit. Just nice and lightly go over the whole headlight, back and forth, side to side. You can kind of see the sanding marks from the 800, and just kind of work your way down. Just until all the excess liquid that's dripping down turns clear again. And the reason we have tape around this is because the edges stick out. These headlights are kind of recessed just lightly, and so we mask those edges so we don't hit them on accident with the sandpaper, because we don't want to create more work for ourselves. You go back and forth until it gets smooth. It's hard to show you guys on camera, but when you're doing it, you can definitely feel the difference from each stage. And as you get these higher grit sandpapers, the headlight will kind of start clearing itself up. I like to go in a crosshatch pattern, so either diagonally like an X, or you can do a plus. just to make sure. And as I'm just about done with this step, I'm just lightly going over it now. I'm not hardly any downforce at all. Just, I mean, I can hold it and just with the sides and go side to side. That's just kind of like a buffing. You're buffing out the compound, I guess, on a car. Just nice and easy, leveling out the surface. Okay, and then let's wipe this one down. Same thing, you want the surface to be all uniform as far as the dullness. That means you've completed step 2. Because if there's any spots that don't look the same, that means you've missed it. And again, feel, make sure it's smooth. Right now it's feeling pretty dang good. Okay, on to step number 3. 1500 is done, on to 25. Alright, got 2500 grit sandpaper on here. This is the final step. This is just leveling out the entire surface, getting it ready for the polishing stages. And this should, I mean, the headlights may look like they did after this step when the vehicle got to me. So right now it is starting to get real smooth. And you want to make sure you're always rinsing off your sandpaper because gunk gets built up inside here, especially with this finer grit. So I like to dip it and rinse it out every 15 seconds or so, just to make sure we're doing something. Some people use water, some people use clay lube. I just use soapy water since it's on hand all the time. So now what I'm doing right now, it's hard to see on camera, but up close there's really fine little scratches that have been created in order to clear these headlights up by each of the different grits that we've been using. So I'm just trying to get these areas as best as I can to lighten those grit lines up. There will still be fine scratches, as this is a very fine sandpaper, but really anybody can do it if you've got the supplies. You could even get a 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 grit sandpaper and almost get these headlights clear. But after this step, I will get my polisher out and use a compound, and the compound will get these scratches out for me and also make the headlights extremely clear. So, and then after the coating is on, it'll be protected for many years to come. And it'll also make this plastic look like a glass. It's a pretty cool thing, ceramic coating. If you don't know anything about it, message me. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Do some research. Everything's on the internet these days, so do what you can. So now I'm going to wipe this down, and then I'm going to take the tape off, because a lot of the tape has water, soap, at least on this bottom half. Try to dry it out, and then I'll put new tape on just to protect the paint. Up here it's not really wet, it's just down here. So we'll switch this tape out, and then I'm going to wash the car just to get all this gunk off that's around the vehicle, and then we'll do the polishing process. It's got that tape off, it dried. Now I'm going to reapply tape. So we're actually going to do the first 2 stages of polishing. Then after we wash it, I'll do my finishing polish, and then we will do the coating after the wash. So I've got my heavy compound on there. I got my rotary wool. That's my favorite polisher to use on getting headlights cleared up. Just have a little more control over the cut. If the headlight has a lot of nooks and crannies and weird shapes, gotta be careful because you can burn the plastic. So I like to start out with quite a bit of compound on here, just to make sure that my pad gets full coverage. Kind of dab it all over, spin a little bit, and then when you start it, you want to make sure you start on a slow speed, or else you're going to get sling compound all over the car. For some reason the camera keeps shutting off, not sure why, but I've got most of the first step done. I still have a little bit of area down here. I noticed it wasn't cutting as good, so I'm going to load it up one more time. Spread it around. And then get after it. It did it again. It shut off. Sorry, guys. Anyway, when you're going over the lens, you want to use as little amount of pressure as you can, or else you're going to be creating deeper scratches, especially with this wool pad. But as of right now, it is looking a lot better. Now we're going to go into a polish with my 3-inch Rupes and a yellow foam pad. It's a high cut polish with diminishing abrasives, so then it turns into kind of a finishing polish as well. And And so we're going to go ahead and get started on that step. So here's our next weapon of choice. Detail Studios Impressive Polish. It's a high cut, diminishing abrasives. It works incredibly on everything you need as far as polishing goes. So we got our cut done already with the cutting compound and our wool pad. Now we're going to do the polishing stage, just to try and clear up the headlight as much as possible and get rid of any fine scratches. And then we're going to wash the car. Then I'm going to put on a white pad with Rupes Uno Pure just to finish out the headlight as best as possible. And then we're going to use Duraslick ceramic coating to coat it and protect it for the next several years to come. So kind of dab the polish all around. And then you gotta plug the machine in. I'll be right back. And we're back. Here we go. Now we're going to go over one more time with a little lighter pressure. And just extremely slow, overlapping, and then go up and down, left to right. we've got the first headlight done. This is not it. I mean, it looks pretty good, but then let's pan over this way. Is that plastic or is it glass? I wish the sun was shining, because it makes a huge difference. But after, and I haven't even coated it yet. Once I wash the car, I'll do a final polish, and then I'll do a coating on it. And it just makes these babies shine. It's insane. So before and after. Big difference. It's gonna change the entire look of the car. K-Dubs Auto Detailing. Just have a couple more steps left. Just gonna wash the car to get all the gunk off. And then final polish and coating. These headlights will be better than new. Time for our final step. We've got our white finishing pad with, let's see, where's the camera? There we go. Uno Pure. And I'm just gonna go over it lightly. So now we're gonna clean the headlight with glass and panel prep. This will get rid of all the polish and waxes that I have used and that have been on there to prepare it for the coating. Let that sit for just a sec, soak everything in. Very gently wipe everything off. Flip it. And now we are ready to coat it. Got our applicator pad and our coating. Get a line down the middle. And up and down, side to side, make sure you get full application to the whole headlight. Let that flash for a few seconds. Right now it's creating the bond to the surface, and then we will remove whatever's left. lightly buff the rest off. Headlight is coated, protected, ready to shine bright for the next several years. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Send me a personal message. You can message me on Instagram or Facebook. K-Dubs Auto Detailing. Help me grow my little business. I appreciate everything. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions about anything that has to do with detailing, polishing, please feel free to ask. Greatly appreciate it. Look forward to creating more content for everybody. Have a great day. Peace out and stay positive.